Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheem Ajami out of Atlanta, Georgia, but I got my brothers from another mother, but we got the same father on with us this morning. First on it is Captain Leonard. This is LJ. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Good deal, good deal. Mr. Logan, Frank Logan. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How's everybody?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Frank, Leonard, you know how we got to start off, man. What's going on in the political world? Did anything happen over the weekend?
We know exactly what's going on in the political world.
What's going on?
My comments and things are that people make sure that you are registered, make sure your addresses and things match your form of identification. Trust me, the people are still trying to derail this election as much as possible. We see a lot of things here being exposed in Georgia, especially with the fight as it relates to our Georgia Elections Board.
Mm-hmm.
These people are some of these people who have managed to get on this board are not only Trump supporters, but we do believe that they are doing this on his behalf.
Mm.
So we need to really be careful of this, and we need to start sending letters and calls to the Secretary of State and the Georgia Election Board to express our disappointment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's very important because we do know that things are at play that I won't say it's as private as you think it would be because it's blatant and open in your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
because of how heated the last election was,
Mm-hmm.
everything is being done to try. I think we heard about the false elector scheme at one point, and now it's just these folks who are on our board here in Georgia who are hell bent on trying to change the rules and things as it relates to the election, fighting some type of protecting against election fraud.
Mm-hmm.
We've been through this before.
Mm-hmm.
It's not election fraud, but they want to make it seem that way, and they want to put things in place just to as it relates to certifying an election in case they don't like the result.
Exactly. Exactly.
Who does that sound like to you?
Mm. Mm. And another thing.
Sounds exactly like Trump and his
Yeah.
last scheme.
Exactly. Exactly. And Leonard, my eyebrow went up over the weekend. It may have actually may have even happened Thursday, but my eyebrow went up, and the reason why it went up because Kemp and Trump has got back in bed together. They buddy again. They're on TV shaking up, and Kemp talking about how he's going to help support Trump to make sure that Trump wins. Now this is the same,
Okay,
huh?
what about it made you cringe?
No, because I know the history and all the little trinkets that they have put out there before. And Trump, talking so bad about Kemp and talking about Kemp is the worst, blase, blase, blase. And Kemp talking bad about Trump and this and that. And he talking about he turned him in, talking about he tried to get me to try to get our state to do this and do that, and it's illegal, blase, blah. All the little talk that they had. And now that it's
Yeah,
election time again, they best buddies again, man. They best buddies like nothing happened.
I mean, what do you expect when sometimes the woman go and bail the man that whipped her out of jail?
Wow. Wow.
What I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure what you really thought, but we do have a coalition here of officials, clergy, and civil rights leaders calling for these board members to be replaced.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Kemp has always been who he is going to be until the day they bury his cold body in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Let us not somehow get it twisted.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
A devil is a devil is a devil.
Gonna be the devil. Yep.
Exactly. And the only thing you can do is act to remove them.
Mm-hmm.
How you allowed here in Georgia this man to beat someone, such an awesome candidate, Miss Stacey Abrams, lets you know the
Mm-hmm.
fight will not end
Yeah. Yeah.
until we got our foot on the neck of the enemy.
Mm. Mm. Frank, talk to me, brother. It's amazing, man, how, after all this time and all the stuff that they went through, and now Kemp is back on TV again talking about how Trump is a great fella. Trump, he's this and he's that, and he's gonna make sure that Georgia support him and he get back into the White House. After all the history that they had, Frank, what does that say to you, brother?
It says that his agenda is more important than his word.
Mm-hmm.
His word, his what he says publicly means nothing. He's always going to make sure that his agenda continues to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know something else is shocking, Raheem.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that we're going on 20 years that a Republican president has not won the popular vote?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
20 years. So
Wow.
we think that them just tampering with votes just now started. How do you go 20 years
Mm-hmm. Come on.
and they have not won the popular vote? That means that the people for 20 years said, nah, we're not buying into that.
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
somehow they get in anyway.
Somehow.
You know, something else that came out over the weekend that and I can't remember her name, but it's the lady that's over regulations. They're trying to get her fired because she's doing a really good job. She's suing these major companies for these monopolies that they build, and somebody was trying to get in to take over, basically to take over the Cancer Foundation. They must be getting too close to actually coming up with something, and I won't say a cure, but they must be getting too close to actually being able to help people
Mm-hmm.
deal with cancer, or to be able to start to turn the corner. And they definitely have to stop that because it's just too many billions of dollars in these cancer foundations
Yep.
and funding and everything else. So this guy donated $10 million, and he's looking for someone to guarantee that once they get into office, they fire this woman.
Mm.
And all she's doing is her job.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing she's doing is what she's supposed to do. Is when she sees corruption, she's calling it out. She's suing people. She sued the people for Fortnite. She sued some other people. And now they say, oh no, we got to get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, how do you not go to jail for that?
You seem like you should, right? Seem like you should.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Wow. Wow. Dr. Cook, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How's everyone?
Hey, doing well, doing well. Good to have you. We're talking about this situation that's going on over the weekend in the in this political arena that we're dealing with right now. Kemp.
I'm trying to understand what situation happened over the weekend.
Well, one of the things that happened was Kemp, the governor here in Georgia, and they had this whole big thing about Trump trying to call down here and you need to find me X amount of votes because there's no way I lost Georgia. Find me the votes, blah blah blah. They went back and forth. They had this big hoopla going against each other in the news for a while, and now they're back on TV talking about how Kemp, the governor here, talking about how Trump is a great guy and blah blah. He's gonna make sure that he gets back in office and how he want to make sure that he wins Georgia. Now these are the same guys that was at odds with each other. What do you think is amiss right now?
Well, I actually didn't see it, but I really don't even know what to say in regards to it because I didn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even aware of what everyone was talking about. So I guess you can come back to me because I'm not sure as to what was being said.
Do you think it's some foolery going on for them to be at odds with each other like that for that amount of time and go back and forth and talking so badly about each other? And now that they signed for the election and now they're
I
back.
do.
Talk
I
to me.
do think that that is a lot of foolery.
Wow. Wow. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Like I say, it is what it is. As long as people allow it to happen, it's going to happen. And you miss so many opportunities after the fact. It's too late to talk about, oh, Trump this. I mean, oh, Brian Kemp, when you let him win that last election. That's when you should have been wooing. Because this is exactly what he was going to do in the first place. There are people that will sit and lie to you in your face. People do not have to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And they don't have to pretend that they like or don't like one another. So anybody who thought that, I mean, it was anything other than what it was, just a show, was misled. He's still a Republican governor. And he's not one of those that got good sense. Like some of these other Republican governors where I say, hold on a minute, something ain't right. I may be a Republican, but I'm not down with the foolishness.
Exactly. And then what do you think about Kennedy? Kennedy dropped out of the race. And at first, a couple of weeks ago, he said he was thinking about dropping out at that time, said he was going to drop out and endorse Kamala. But this time he dropped out and he flip-flopped. I guess Trump got to him. And now he said he publicly said he's endorsing and backing Trump. His whole family
never trusted him.
Go ahead.
Never trusted him. His true colors have shown. First of all, he thought he could win simply because of his name.
Yeah.
Because anybody who you know that you ask about him can't tell you anything about anything that he's done that even represents the progress and the standards that his family set in politics. So you have to be aware of the tricks that are being played, how people get into elections, for what purpose, what their strategies are. His strategy is his name.
Wow. And
that's the only reason why he hoped that you would vote for him, is because you'd recognize his name.
Yeah. Kennedy. Exactly.
So it just like, the saying you said, a leopard can't change his spot. That ain't too much different than with people.
Wow.
If you are not, I always tell folks to say, I'm not this and I'm not that. So what are you doing to not be like your predecessors? What are you trying to do when somebody say, I've changed? How do people know you have changed? How?
Yeah. Wow.
Lips can say anything, bro.
And a lot of times
look at
they
the
do.
Action.
Yep. Wow. Frank and his whole family, Kennedy's whole family, has came out publicly and shamed him for what he did in endorsing Trump. His whole family has pretty much come out and shamed him, man. What do you say to that? Is he a man on an island by himself?
This is not shocking. I mean, when he ran, when he came in and put his name in there, he only did that to try to hinder the Democrats.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he did it. He tried to split the votes. He said that I have, like Leonard said, that my name has enough name recognition that I can get a certain amount of people. I can't win. He never thought that he could win.
Yeah.
But maybe I can do enough damage to where the Democrats can't win. So now, when that was an obvious failure, because they looked at his polling, they said, man, you're not polling anybody.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, well, come on over here. And what we'll do is we'll use you to just speak against them. Maybe that'll do more. I mean, it's just, and nobody's shocked that. I mean, he was a double agent all along.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's just what he was doing. That's the only reason he was doing that. But you know, this thing with Kemp, it wasn't that he was ever against, even when he was where it looked like he was having issues with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that he was having issues with Trump. He was having issues with the way Trump tried to do it. You know, see, the one thing about Donald Trump, and the thing that actually helps, is that the man, the way he does things, it exposes what's really going on. We've learned more in the last 8 years about what the Republicans are doing because of Donald Trump's arrogance. If you would have got a Ron DeSantis in there,
yeah,
who really knows how to play the game, oh man, we'd have been in serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That's why actually Trump was the best candidate, because he just said openly, oh man, we don't need your votes. That's scary. He meant that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He meant that. He meant that we have systems in place where votes are not going to count as much as people think they are.
Mm-hmm.
He meant that.
Yeah.
He'll go to a meeting and come back out and tell you what they said in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, dude, what are you doing? Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Let's just get this done.
You're revealing that playbook.
But see, he has to let you. Yeah, that's right. You showing our hand.
Yeah.
You showing our hand. But see, that's arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
He has to let you know, well, this is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you better believe when he says something, you better write it down.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely what they're trying to do.
Why do you think, and I'm going to go to Stanley, but why do you think it is that he's trying to make it appear, Trump is trying to make it appear as though he has nothing to do with, or is not lined up with Project 2025?
Project 2025,
yes,
abortion, anything that is a bridge too far.
mm-hmm.
Anything that you just cannot explain. You can't explain what they're talking about doing in Project 2025.
Mm-hmm.
There's no explanation for that.
Yeah.
You know, that was the stupidest thing. And it's so crazy, Raheem. Do you realize if it wasn't for abortion being attacked and overturned, that we wouldn't even be in this race.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these people that are outraged, they're not outraged because of what is right or what's wrong. A lot of them are outraged because of abortion.
Yeah.
Abortion is the biggest thing right now that the Republicans can't overcome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, because that hit a whole bunch of people's households.
Yeah. Absolutely. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. You're listening to DK Media Group and Associates, and this is The Morning Glow. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, from 7 until 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you continue to join us, share us, like us, subscribe, do all that stuff. All likes, do all that stuff to us. Stanley, good morning, Stanley. How you doing this morning?
Doing good, brother. How you this morning?
Hey, doing good. Stanley, you here in Georgia. What do you think about how this Kemp Trump situation has flip-flopped to the point where Kemp, they went from being arch enemies to now Kemp is saying he's going to support, he's going to endorse Trump, and he's going to make sure that Trump wins because he's the best candidate, blase. What do you think about that, man? Is there some top shelf foolery going on there?
Well, bro, I'm going to say it like this right here. And I think it's deeper than just the Republican Party. I think there's been some phone calls made and secret meetings had that they don't told this guy, this is what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the way he was against Trump a few years ago, it's the same way Mitch McConnell was talking against Trump after January 6th.
Yeah.
That he disapproved of this and that wasn't right and blah, 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 blah. And had the opportunity to have Trump indicted. And then when time came for that, Mitch McConnell backed off
Mm-hmm.
and started supporting Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp is supporting Donald Trump. Now, after all this 2 or 3 year battle, you know, where he didn't support him and he was against him, now all of a sudden, you know, he's endorsing this man.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that lets you know there's been some secret meetings and some phone calls made. Hey, this is what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than just being a down the ballot Republican. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
just the way I look at it, because all of a sudden you're gonna endorse this man when you've been
Flip-flop.
against him for
Just
the last
flip
3 or
flop.
4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. You know, all of a sudden, you don't want a totally, 180 about everything that you said about this man. Now, all of a sudden, he's
Right. You don't flip the script all
Yeah.
of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's some of those 9 when we at home sleeping, there's some of these midnight meetings and phone calls that these folks have.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that's just how I see it. I could be wrong, but you don't flip like that for no reason just because you're a Republican. Because if that was the case, you was a Republican 3-4 years ago.
Yep. You while all this stuff was going on, you were still a Republican. So what's the difference? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I'm saying you was a Republican all that time, so it's bigger than just being a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a lot of meetings going on, man. A lot of stuff that's like I said, at night while we're sleeping, getting those 40 winks, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
These folks are up preparing and making phone calls to say, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at their careers, their position, their status, their family, their money. All kinds of stuff is going on while we're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't just wake up one morning and decide, hey, I'm going to support Donald Trump all of a sudden. When I've got people that I don't hate anybody, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I've got some folks that I don't support. And unless the Lord himself come down and tell me to do it, I'm not going to support.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
for you to wake up one morning all of a sudden and say, hey, I support this guy. No, it's bigger than just being a Republican.
Exactly. Wake up one morning. You know what? Maybe he ain't as bad as I thought he was the last 2 years. Maybe he ain't as bad.
Right. But he ain't changed. He got worse, but then all of a sudden he's not as bad. Come on, man.
Yeah. It just does. It does not make sense. It does not make sense. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Badger, got a question for you. And I know you're a researcher, man, and you dig deep into things, man, and try to go beneath the cover, beneath the surface a little bit. So, have you looked into that Project 2025? And if so, what did you see in there?
And if it really is standing for what it's saying it does, I don't think a lot of people really understand what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Talk to us, Badger.
So, if they're really talking about and supporting lowering corporation taxes and increasing taxes elsewhere, there's going to be a lot more of a money gap than there was ever before, leaving each state to its own opinion of what schools should or should not have. Essentially, it's their version of, I believe a word that they use is Christian nationalism. Notice I said their version.
Yeah.
And I honestly have to say I've seen signs of it in the state that I live in Texas. Which I'm not against Christianity. You guys know this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of the big issue is our country is so separated on Roe versus Wade and the gender issues that it's causing a lot of inner turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to taxes and things, people want to be able to work and live.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get them to under the impression that if they do this, if they support this, there's going to be more money in their pocket.
Mm.
And I feel that that's a lot of the issue is when people look at certain things and they see that blue states have higher taxes than red states and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
If they can afford health insurance and all these other things and don't have anything bad happen in their life, I can understand why they view things the way that they do. But the part I still find interesting is when they do hit that hard part of their life where they fall or, you know, they lose their job all of a sudden and they actually need help and stuff, then they start realizing how hard things are for those that have those accidents that happen in their lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
to me, it feels like what
Is there any good in it, Badger?
Oh man, dude, everything has some good in it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's weighing how much good versus how much it's going to hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the part that a lot of people miss.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is if you don't know how to read the language, it's really hard to understand what's going on. It's like the whole principle about tariffs, right? Trump increased tariffs, started the process of increasing tariffs and everything on China, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you the amount of people that don't understand by them increasing tariffs that increased consumer cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't even give you a number of how many people I've ran across that are, especially Republican side of things, that honest to God think that the tariffs on China actually decreased the cost somehow.
No. It's simple.
Like I just
Supply and demand, brother. Supply and demand. That's
no, I agree.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, one after another.
Mm-hmm.
He increased the tariffs, but yet still told companies to go over to China.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Like, make that make sense.
Exactly. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, and going to Tucson after this. So Tucson, be on standby, brother. Coming to you next. Leonard, I know you've looked at this Project 2025. I just want to know from where you are, from the research that you've done, is there anything good in it?
Well, it's not about. It's good for those that support it,
Mm-hmm.
and the people that support it are usually very judgmental, racist individuals.
Wow.
And so they came up with this plan that easily. I'm gonna tell you what the plan really represents. It represents the cross section of people who believe that America was actually a Christian nation to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And because you continually use the word Christian with something, you automatically make people believe you are operating within God's will.
Mm.
So this is how this big deception started, and why we moved to a separation of church and state. It's because these particular people that have written and constructed 2025 are simply about controlling what everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for instance, the reason why they want to get rid of public education is for the very simple fact is they want to make it a state issue. Well, according to the Constitution, currently it is already a state issue. States administer education.
Mm-hmm.
according to the plans that they submit. And the only thing that the federal government really can do is decide not to fund it federally.
Mhm.
So states pretty much choose their own plans, and as long as they're not violating law, they usually can go ahead and get the approval of the federal government.
Mhm.
But that's not good enough for Project 2025. We're dealing with people who want to ban books,
Yes.
all
Yes.
types of things, who want to stop funding for all types of grants, especially those things related to Title IX.
Mhm. And Leonard,
And so,
explain to the people
Go ahead.
that may not be aware what is exactly is the Title IX.
well, Title IX came about specifically in its inception because of the discrimination against women in educational achievements and pursuits. And this is what had happened. And so over time, Title IX, the most recent challenge to Title IX has to do with the gender thing
Mm-hmm.
and adding that as a class, protected class. But Title IX was created to give women equal opportunity and funding in education.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it also began to open up to protect from discrimination, also programs that support low-income children in inner cities,
Mm-hmm.
your programs for free lunch and all these types of things are there. Those things that really are geared towards diversity, equity, and inclusion in education.
Mm-hmm.
This is why they want to dismantle and destroy public education this way.
Wow. Wow.
And so Christians have to be smarter. And just because someone tells you a Christian, don't mean they Jesus kind of Christian.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Toussaint, talk to me, brother. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm all right. I'm listening to y'all conversation,
Why do you think a
and
person? Go ahead.
no, there had some people under the banner of what we would think they were Christians, were Pharisaic, and they crucified Jesus
Mm.
in the name of their right. It's just me,
Yeah. Come on.
but they had a form of, we so crazy. They had a form of godliness, but they denied the power thereof. Here we go again. Let me say that. Gotta watch how we team up with people that say they're Christians.
Yeah. That say they're Christian.
Because
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, really, because after they finish, you don't forgot that after they finish their service and they close out with ringing in the sheen, they say we're gonna hang Johnny tomorrow or after service in the name of Christianity. People run, they sabotage you. They take your stuff. So anyway, what you finna say, Raheem? What you finna say?
No, I was about to ask you about a person that would try to do something to curb the ability to have public education, because without public education, some people, if you don't have public education or you try to stop it or hinder it in some kind of way, some people are not going to have education at all, because a lot of people
There you go.
a lot of people cannot
You
afford
forgot?
private. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. There you go again. See, they want you uneducated. You know forgot?
Mm-hmm. Why?
You forgot when they Christians didn't want you to read.
Wow. Wow.
You forgot that?
Come on. Come on.
I'm saying, I'm talking about, yeah, holy people say holy people. Holy, they say they holy. They got a hole in their holiness. And you jumping on the bandwagon because they carry the title Christians. Stealing in the name of the Lord. Y'all forgot the song? I mean, it's so. Remember the last time them Christians was laying hands on Trump? Remember them?
Yeah.
Them Christians. And I'm not saying that he don't need his hands laid on him. If anybody need their hands laid on, he needs it. He's like a Nicodemus. You must be born again, man. I'm just saying. Here we go again. The cycle repeats itself. Because if people figure something works, they try it again. Let me tell you something else, and I'll shut my mouth. Herod and Caesar didn't get along till they teamed up on Jesus. Read your book.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Come on, get some of this. Give us a call. Tell us your opinion, whether you agree or disagree, how you feel about it. Come get some of this, man. We got a big pile over here, man. Come get yourself a slice. Come get yourself a slice of the morning glow. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm just happy to see another beautiful new day of life, man. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Good to have you, brother. We started off talking about the Kemp situation and how he flip-flopped. He went from not liking old Trump, old 45, not liking him, and they at odds with each other, to now over the weekend, Thursday, may have been Thursday, he talking about how Trump is a great guy and he's going to endorse him, make sure that he wins the state of Georgia. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that he's a good guy, and we're going to make sure that he wins. We're going to make sure that we bring it home to the Republican Party. That's Kemp. What do you think about that? What kind of foolery had to have happened from the time they was talking so bad about each other, couldn't be in the same room with each other for a second, to now he's a great guy and they back in bed together? What happened, Rico?
It's this politics as usual. What you're speaking about is what's wrong with politics. That unconditional loyalty, just so your party could win, whether they're right or wrong. It ain't nothing new. J.D. Vance did the same thing.
Yeah.
He couldn't stomach Trump.
Yep.
Kamala did the same thing with Joe Biden. Remember when Joe and Kamala was debating each other, man? She was hitting them low.
Going at it. Yeah.
Then she ended up being his vice president. Even then, I was like, wait a minute, man. She was almost accusing this man of being a pervert. So, I mean, it's politics as usual. And it really, if you really look at things with a sober mind, I guess, or with a clear mind, you understand that this is just part of the game. And it's what's wrong with politics. And that's a reason why they keep us confused and going back and forth. I heard an interview on CNN. I think it was Vance Jones. I can't remember what this guy's name is, but he interviewed like maybe 6 black men and asked them how did they feel about the DNC, and did they feel comfortable that where black men stood in that. And all of them gave their opinion. 2 of them you could tell were conservatives. The rest of them were Democrats. But I heard one of the guys say something that really exemplifies my opinion of the fact that they want to keep a dysfunctional society functioning in a dysfunctional system. And that dysfunctional system is necessary for it to function because it's all built on economics and profits, greed and control. I don't know if y'all heard what Bill Clinton said in that DNC, but he almost spilled the beans. But I didn't like what he said. He said, I got a lot of friends. They're really some good guys, but they think they ought to control everything. Well, you can't be too good if you think you ought to control everything. But he admitted these were his friends. The same people that's on that Epstein list. These are his friends. The ones that are immune to certain consequences that everybody else are immune to. I mean, everybody else are held accountable for. But in that conversation I seen on CNN, man, one of those guys, because, I heard abortion came up. And it's odd, man. I mean, if you really think about how they want to keep us confused and
and functioning in a dysfunctional system. Man, we've been talking about Roe versus Wade for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
50 years they've been flipping back and forth. In favor of, against, in favor of, against. How is it after 50 years we still going back and forth and talking about Roe versus Wade, amongst other things?
Mm-hmm.
But I think they do that to keep society confused and functioning in a dysfunctional system. It is the same game plan or playbook that they use to keep making money off the super predators, but not doing anything to stop what creates the super predators.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know, so I look at this whole situation, but on that CNN interview, they brought up abortion, and one of the conservative guys, you know, since they're a part of Christians, you know, supposedly, said that God and Jesus was about life, creating life, and not destroying life.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I've been always more on the Democrat side. My whole life, I'm gonna say 100%. But one of those guys said, I don't care what God said. A woman has a right to choose.
Wow. Mm.
So that lets you know right there, to me, society is all confused and bamboozled, like Malcolm X said, trying to follow along in this political game that they've corrupted with their political games.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest example of the fact that they do play political games is the fact that you can have somebody condemn a man 1 minute and then jump right on his ticket and be his vice president or support this same man just because it goes along with just towing the party line.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. That's good. Let me go to Stanley. Stanley out there, we're going to Frank, then we're going to go to Badger. Stanley, what's on your heart?
Hey, man, I'll call it back in. I've got to go into physical therapy.
Okay.
So I'll hit you back out there.
Absolutely. Good deal. Good deal. Frank, talk to me, brother.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes.
Have you been saved all your little old life?
Say it again.
Have you been saved all your little old life?
No.
Neither have I. I have not been saved all my life, and I've made some serious mistakes over the years. I've ran with some people and done some things that I regret.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was out in the streets, even then, when I was out in the streets, there were rules.
Yeah.
There were certain things that you did not do.
Mm-hmm.
You did not attack seniors. You did not attack kids. It was just certain things that you didn't do. But in everybody's group, everybody had a couple of them. They didn't know or they didn't respect the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to get them out of your group because they would go too far.
Mm-hmm.
Something as simple as, well, this guy caught one of our guys on the wrong side of town, so you know we got to deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
But now he wants to burn up the guy's mama's house with the guy's kids in the house. And whoa, dude, oh, it ain't that deep.
No,
he just beat Ray up. We gonna get him, but we not doing all of that.
Mm-hmm.
We not going that far. See, there's some things that you can't compare other things to. Politics have always been dirty. When you go back to the beginning of politics, they used to actually fight in the courthouses to try to intimidate each other, to try to make people do things that they wanted them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then it got a little more civilized, but it was just as dirty. And it's always going to be dirty. As long as you have dark money and people that have agendas that we'll never know the whole of it. But even in politics, there should be a humane side of it. And when you talk about, okay, why would all of a sudden this guy, no, he never changed his position. He just got in a place where he had to evaluate what was going on. He looked around and he said, man, these jokers are going to jail for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting indicted. He called me on an open line and is asking me to do things that I can't do. We can't even talk about this. So he made a business decision. Oh no, but his agenda was the same. It's always going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we there's certain things you can't. People that are about corruption may embezzle money or that may do different things, give contracts to different people that they shouldn't be giving contracts to. They've been doing it in politics forever. People getting bought off, and then all of a sudden, somebody's cousin or brother is able to do business somewhere they shouldn't be able to do business. They've always been doing that. It doesn't make it right. They've been doing it forever.
Mm-hmm.
But this stuff that they're doing nowadays, though, you can't compare that to what just regular politicians are doing.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's not apples and oranges. I mean, it's not apples and apples.
Yeah, that's good.
It's totally different.
It's a different game.
But no. It's not part of the game. That's the thing that I'm trying to say right now. Is that the things that they're doing is not politics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's at a whole nother level of corruption. A whole nother level of corruption.
Wow.
And they've been doing it for a while, but it's so freaking dark.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question right here. When they rounded up all of those kids, and they said, "Well, we're doing this because they snuck over here, and they shouldn't be here," and they separated them from their parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that because they felt anything about immigrants. Trump had all them kids sold to Putin. They were going to be sold, and too much attention came to it. We still don't know what happened to those kids. Whatever happened to them?
Wow.
They didn't find, and the thing about it, guess who they weren't finding, Raheem? They weren't finding the girls. They never came back and said, we put 100% of these kids back with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's too far.
Yeah. Wow. Badger, talk to me, Badger. It's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that people don't see. Badger, talk to me.
So I want to read a small portion from this 2025, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So this is goal number 3 under their chapter of Department of Health and Human Services. Family comprised of a married mother, father, and their children are the foundation of a well-ordered nation and healthy society. Unfortunately, family policies and programs under President Biden's HHS are fraught with agenda items focusing on LGBTQ plus equity, subsidizing single motherhood, DISINCENTIVIZING work, and penalizing marriage. These policies should be repealed and replaced by policies that support the foundation of stable married nuclear families. Working fathers are essential to a well-being and to the well-being and development of their children, but the United States is experiencing a crisis of fatherlessness that is ruining our children's futures. In the overwhelming number of cases, fathers insulate children from physical and sexual abuse, financial difficulty, or poverty, incarceration, teen pregnancy, poor education outcomes, high school failure, and a host of behavioral and psychological problems. By contrast, homes with non-related boyfriends present are among the most dangerous place for a child to be. HHS should prioritize married father engagement in its messaging, health, and welfare policies in the context of current emerging reproductive technologies. HHS policies should never place the desires of adults over the right of children to be raised by the biological fathers and mothers who conceive them. In cases involving biological parents who are found by a court unfit because of the abuse or neglect, the process of adoption should be speedy, certain, and supported generously by HHS.
Wow. What is that saying to you, Badger?
That apparently they've ignored everything else that's going on that's caused a lot of those problems.
Wow.
So, because reading that thing, it can definitely give you like a spark of hope that, hey, they're wanting to support, families and, become more transparent and more freedom of rights of what doctor you choose and making sure that the states are paying those doctors. But then when you start reading the fine details of things, I can't even remember the last time I heard the phrase nuclear family. So it reminds me of how a long time ago, most families didn't really have a lot of, I guess the early 19th century, if you were poor, society didn't really like you. And you ended up just being a indentured servant. In a nutshell, bare minimum to live and all those kinds of things. And to me, that's what it feels like it's going back to, is an indentured servant mentality of, if you have the money, we'll take care of you. If you don't, thanks for your workforce.
Wow.
And let's make sure that mentality is taught to future generations.
Leonard, what did you gather from that? Rico, coming to you next.
Well, I mean, it's like anybody playing that theocracy game. I am a Christian and a Muslim, but I wouldn't want to live in a place that forced me to be Christian or Muslim. This what he just read pretty much. You Negroes listen to this. They don't want to fund Medicaid anymore and the welfare programs. They're anti-welfare programs for single mothers. They're anti-prenatal care for single mothers. They're anti-supporting anybody that does not fit their description of what a family is. A man, a woman, and 2.5 kids. That's what a nuclear family roundabout used to be termed. A woman married to a man and 2.5 kids. And if you ain't that, you don't deserve to be here. That's what that is about. Now you want to say, well, I'm a Christian, and so what about all the kids that used to starve before we had food welfare programs? Think of how many people would be homeless if we did not have these programs.
Mm-hmm.
This is what is being referred to as a Social Security safety net. What has happened in one of the main justifications that a lot of people use as it relates to politics in this situation is that policies and things and disenfranchisement is what has bred so much violence and corruption in communities. It is because the very struggle just for a piece of bread is what leads you to theft and stealing and violence and drugs and everything else. If you follow that mentality, then you'll be right to one of them fools. Oh, Project 25 sounds pretty good. Because remember, they've been against people on welfare, and they've painted the picture that it's black women on welfare anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
But see, what y'all don't realize is they'll cut it for people in our neighborhood and still give it to white folks over there in them trailer parks.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder how white and black poor got separated? Blacks went to projects, whites went to trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so you have to understand when it's subsidized housing, for instance. Subsidized housing is specifically for low-income people. Now, if you follow this logic, low-income people pretty much going to be thrown to the wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And you think it's bad now. Imagine when everybody fighting for food. I used to talk to young men who were saying that they were selling drugs to feed their. That's not why you selling dope. Them rims is $4,000.
Yeah.
Look at the paint job on that car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pulled up next to your grandmama's shack that she been living in forever on food stamps and housing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing it for your family.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to steal in order to eat. You prefer to steal.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Instead of knocking on the door, we need some food.
Mm-hmm.
So you justify stealing as surviving. What do you think going to happen if they cut benefits?
It's going to get rough out here. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Rico, talk to me, brother. Frank, coming to you next.
Man, I like what Badger did, man. He pretty much hit it on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Because that number 3 that he read is all I've been asking for. Is one of those talking points that Candace Owens that makes black men go back, sit back and say, hey, man, I like what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Do need to put formulas back in the household. It's true. But then we also have to realize the history of the country we live in. Well, these people have agendas and ulterior motives. Mm-hmm. And they will create laws and then execute those laws to once again achieve those ulterior motives.
Yeah.
They're using their will in every angle. They can take laws and use them against certain people, certain individuals. So, Badger says it. They the ones created the problem. But then you have the extreme left and the extreme right. And nobody seems to want to just go down the middle and use some reason and logic to pretty much do what's needed to be done for the kids and to make sure the kids have parents. I'm going to say a mother and a father in the household. We already know that those issues exist. Everything that he said was true. The consequences in the majority of cases where children don't have a father in the household. But it goes back to what I said earlier. I don't want to talk about what creates a super predator.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get them off the street. So it's mighty funny, the party that wants to put the family back together, bring back the nuclear family and put the father back in the household. It's the same party that used the wrong drugs to take black men out the household. Ain't that something? They're
Wow.
playing with us. Once again, people have agendas and ulterior motives, so they might get Project 2025 put in, and then come up with another way to only bring white men back into the household, but still find a way to exclude black men. Who knows? But they have been doing that with laws from the very beginning. The reason why we are the overwhelming majority of the prison system is because ever since they ended slavery, every 4 years, every 8 years, they came up with new laws that try to enslave. Why? How? Through the implementation and execution of laws. They were able to continue the system of slavery under another name. So, with this Project 2025, it's business as usual, same old tactics that politicians use against the public, and that the system and the corporations use against the public to continue benefiting. And somehow, some way, they will find a way to profit from Project 2025, because that's what it seems like everything boils down to. But once again, like I said, I love what Badger said. He said it. It seems like they don't want to hold themselves accountable for creating that problem. But if you listen to what politicians have said on both sides, they don't care what creates a problem. That's the reason why we're not addressing those issues now. We still addressing abortion 50 years later.
Wow.
Roe versus Wade was in 1973. 1973. We got so many more issues, crises. Like he said, it's a crisis.
51 years
of
ago.
the households that don't have fathers in them. And we see it. We know that these young black males, the result of these are a lot of the young super predators that they spoke of. I hate the name, but it's true. So, where the accountability and the balance in actually fixing this problem or this crisis that you created with the drug war way back with Nixon? That was 50 years ago also.
Good deal. Wow. Let's keep this thing going. Frank, talk to me, brother. Frank, you there? Toussaint, talk to me, brother. Toussaint, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. You see, did I lose everybody? Let me see here. Leonard, talk to me, Leonard.
I couldn't find that phone, man.
Oh, hold on.
The phone. Hold
on for a minute. I have Frank on
mute button.
Exactly. I have Frank
yeah,
on mute.
Right here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I had you on mute, man. You had some background noise going on, so I muted you. So let me go back to Frank, and then I'm gonna come back to you, Toussaint. I had him on mute. I came to him, and he was probably just talking away, and could nobody hear him. I can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We have to do a deeper dive on what is going on. Remember The Rock, the show The Rock, the show in living color, South Central, when all those shows were on that network.
Yes.
Very popular. So the Wayans brothers said, wait a minute, man. Now all you're doing is you're playing reruns and you're not paying us. So they said, okay. They took all those shows off of the air. They created Fox News. Made billions of dollars, right? They're doing it again. You're looking at all of this black content on Tubi. And everybody on Facebook, oh, my show's on Tubi. Oh, go to Tubi. Oh, go look at Tubi. Same person. What is his name? Rupert Murdoch?
Yes.
that same person owns Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
And all he's doing is bringing black content. And what that does is that brings all the advertising dollars. He's going to make all of his money, and he's going to scrap all of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's about control. It is about control. They continue to use us the same way over and over and over again. We gotta quit running this stuff without doing the resource to see who's behind it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's the thing right there. I got this app on my phone that tells me exactly, who support who and how they support them and what level they support them on. But let me go to Tucson. Tucson, talk to me, brother. Now you just found a mute.
Yeah, I got it this time.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm thinking about? That old devil at his job again. Here's the thing that I think. If you make it seem right, if it looks right, they'll fall for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a scripture says, if it were possible, he fool the very elect. Y'all gonna regret not reading your Bible and studying.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're gonna use the very thing that you honor against you. Because you took pastor's word for it.
Wow.
It sure is. It's gonna look Christian. We're gonna have you outdoors. In the name of the Lord.
Wow.
You're gonna jump for it, hook, line, and sinker, because it look right.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you value and you against, they're gonna support your mindset because, and I'm not saying that people mindset are limited, but people mindset are limited. Oh, I said it.
Lord Jesus.
You stood on mama's religion for so long, they're gonna use that against you.
Mm-hmm.
Playing church. You like to shout, but you don't like the teaching.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna regret that.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna look like what you think Christian is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna bust your bubble because some of you been shacking. And you got a boyfriend under the table.
Wow.
And a girlfriend too.
And
if what Badger read is part of the agenda, if you look at your life, you don't fit the criteria.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're gonna separate you from your own child.
Wow.
And they're gonna undereducate them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna look like kind of like when the serpent was in the garden. Some people, here's what it is. I'm just using this for example. It looked like truth, and it made us stick our chest out. And he said to them, "You're gonna be like God." Oh yeah, oh yeah, what really? Oh man, man, you mean to tell me, I'm made in His image and His likeness? Why not be like Him?
Wow.
And see, there are people. They're not about out of time. I'm sure them over 30 seconds. But anyway, there are people that have put their Bibles on their shelf and they show up every Sunday. No Bible class, no Sunday school, no studying. Your kids don't even know if you know what you say you know because they ain't learning nothing because you ain't teaching them nothing.
Wow. Leonard,
so people that study the other part is going to use it against you and you're going to regret it.
Leonard, talk to me, brother.
What you want me to talk to you about, Raheem?
Well, pretty much what we're talking about right now, if you don't mind. We can keep it together.
Well, there are a lot of things in the Bible, and it depends on how you read it and what you think. But people have to understand that, one, I am not one to judge. There was lots of comments that I'm going to be attacking at this other platform that I'll be on end of September, based around why we should vote and what have you. And how do I put it, Raheem?
Come on.
I'm a man, and I do whatever I want to do. If I just want to sleep with a woman, I just sleep with her if I want to. How you gonna make somebody be with somebody they don't want to be with? This lie that people been living off of all these years, and I hear it a lot by people making excuses for their choices. But I was always taught right from wrong, and whatever you choose, that's you. But what I do know for sure and for certain, ain't nobody took black men out of their homes. I don't know where this comes from.
Then you got to go deeper with that. You say ain't nobody took black men out of their homes. You got to go a little deeper with that, brother.
Yeah, what
Explain
did
to
you
me.
do to get taken out of your home is a better question. Because you want to make it seem as if you was intended on doing right when you were not. You did not want to be with those women and those children.
So, Leonard, am I hearing you say that there has not been any policies or systems or things put in place that regulated that if you do have a man in your house, you cannot get these benefits? If there's a man living in your house, you will not get any benefits at all. Once you get that man out of your house, if I come in there, I find his shoes up under your bed, then you're disqualified, and all your quote unquote benefits are gone. There hasn't been systems like that put in place.
Most definitely, that's a regulation for everybody, not just for black folks. You don't have to go down there if you don't want to, because if this man had good intentions, he'd be taking care of you and his children. So because these men did not have good intentions, we had to come up with a system to feed and house these mothers left behind.
Even during the time of depression, when a lot of this stuff came into place during y'all, like, what was that, the 1920s or whatever it was, whenever the depression was. I ain't no historian like y'all, but even during the time of the Great Depression, where everybody was struggling, everybody was having a hard time keeping food on the table, even during those times,
married and unmarried.
So
who don't deserve to eat? You pick one.
So my question is this: even during the time of the Great Depression, when that was going on, if they have a system in place, and if you have a man in your house, you're not getting these benefits, because welfare. See, what people don't understand: welfare was only was supposed to be a temporary thing. Welfare was not supposed to be something that continued over years and years and years. It was just for that. It's supposed to have been just for that era of time, but somehow it was prolonged. So talk to me about that, Leonard.
It's about choices. There are people who choose to live on public welfare because that's how they live. That's their lifestyle. Some people don't want to do what I do or you do. But that don't mean they don't deserve to eat.
Okay.
Do you know the number of how big of a problem you think it's a big problem today, homelessness? Take away subsidized housing, and you will see the effect of it. See, all this idealism don't transfer to life.
Okay. Stay right there, Leonard. Let's keep
how
this.
you want it to be and should be. Don't transfer to life that easily.
Okay, Leonard, stay right there. We got to keep it moving. Stay right there. Don't you go nowhere. Stay right there, brother. Let me go to Annie from Mississippi. Annie from Mississippi. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Great morning, God. Morning to everybody.
Annie, what do you think about what we're talking about right now? Is there and we know there's some, and to Leonard's point, there are some men that don't want to do the right thing. They just don't. And they're not going to. They're not going to. But that's not everybody. Do you think there was a system put in place that said that if you have a man in your household, that we're not going to give you any of these statewide quote unquote benefits that you so rightfully deserve because you have a man in that house, causing that man to leave? What do you say to that, Annie?
Well, Raheem, I deal with a lot of people that that has vouchers, HUD vouchers, that calls and they let you know that they want to, 3-bedroom home. They on the system with HUD, and many of them, they never put down, that there's a man there. Of course, that they're not going to put that down. But many of them, these women do have men in their homes. They do have children, they have to feed. But I believe that many of the women have made it so very easy for the men. And I hate that, because a lot of the younger people, I know black and white, but I deal with a lot of, a lot of us. And many of us, we have made it so easy for men to come there and just live. And, and of course they're not going to tell the system that there's a man living there. So, to me it's heartbreaking. And it's also a form of bondage, because, here you are, you have so much potential, and you can have anything and be anything in life that you want to be. But, because you want to stay on the system, you want, not to pay your rent, you want not to be able to buy food out of pocket. So you choose this. And I know a lot of people may say they didn't choose it, but let me tell you something about welfare. Just like the last caller just said, welfare was not meant to be permanent. It's temporary, until you are able to get back on your feet. But many young women like myself, us, we become comfortable where we are, and they don't want to get up. My daughter was on the system for a moment. My daughter was getting paid to live in an apartment, very nice apartment in Alabama, Livingston, Alabama, getting paid to live there. So therefore, she paid no rent. She got electric bills paying for that, and giving her like $11 a month over that. So she wasn't paying anything, and she was also getting food stamps. So she had everything all there. But my daughter chose, Raheem, not to live that way forever. My daughter moved from Livingston, Alabama to Northport, where she was paying $2,300 a month, $2,300 a month for rent, until we got her to buy a home. We worked with another realtor to get her in a home, to get her credit score where it needs to be. So, because she didn't want to live like that. She didn't want to live on the system. Not saying the system is bad, but I will say this right here. We should make it permanent.
Yeah.
We should not make it permanent. And it's just it's only for a moment. But, many people get there and they stay there. And their mindset, it's like a stronghold or something. It's like you want to stay here. And when you're put in, a lot of women call me, they have a voucher for maybe $2,500, $1,300 to make it right there, depending on how many children, depending on, everything. But they want to go to certain neighborhoods. The system have it where, you're only going to go to a certain area. You can't go to this side over here. I've yet to put somebody in a different side of town. I've put some people, I've put them in average places, but I've never taken them to a nicer places. And even though some of the homes over there, they are for rent.
Yeah.
But we always end up having to find them somewhere in an average or either a poor neighborhood.
Wow. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Goddess, good morning, young lady. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good deal. Good to have you.
Good morning, family.
Good morning, sister. Good to have you back with us. What do you think about this, man? Is there some situations whereas the system forced the man out of the home, or is it just the men are just so sorry they just don't want to be in the house and do what's right and take care of their families as they should?
a lot of people, we forget, right now we're going through a control factor and being in a control factor. But we forget that the reason your grandmother didn't leave your grandfather has less to do with more of a moral compass or love than what you think. Basically, until I think it was 1964, an employer could refuse to hire women. And until 1974, they could refuse to sell a woman a home.
Mm-hmm.
And that was legal.
Yeah.
And until 1988, you could refuse to rent to a woman with children. Contrary to what most people believe, women didn't stay because of relationships. They were better. They stayed because society was designed for their independence. And I think we forget about that. And so the control that bees push forward. And I was reading something the other day. A lot of people don't believe that the highest pope is called the Black Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing goes on throughout. Nothing goes on throughout the world without talking to the Black Pope.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean black in color. I mean black in garment.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The dirty word.
So that's where religion comes from, and religion was sent out for control. So when I harp on certain things about everything, I've done my due diligence. That means I've looked into what it is. And far from contrary, a lot of people don't realize is that we have a lot of control through all types of, from TV through everything. I call them the GTA crew. Kids now, because they looking at Grand Theft Auto, you're seeing all these Hyundais being stolen. It's a whole control thing. They started off, and then we turn around and we're like, we got to buy our kids that so they can have the latest thing instead of getting them something that is needed.
Mm-hmm. I think we
to boost their mindset.
Okay,
I think different.
I think we veered a little bit. What do you say about is the system pushing the men out of the house, or are the men just leaving because they want to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's both.
Mm-hmm.
It's both.
Wow.
It's a system and it's a choice.
Okay.
It's both.
Gotcha.
But you can't make somebody leave. We have to go to. I'm with Leonard on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to make a choice. And then as a choice, as a woman, can't nothing or nobody make me do nothing that I don't want to do.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Badger, what do you say to that, brother? Is it a choice? Is it or is it the system that's pushing these men out? What do you say it is? Rico, come to you next.
I mean, to me, it boils down to a choice.
Mm-hmm. So the men just don't want to be
there. A lot
there.
of times that choice is difficult because, I mean, looking at it in a general sense, I'm not talking about where the man or the wife are just not worth a darn.
Mm-hmm.
Because those situations happen. And to me, that's not every single scenario. I feel that the majority of it does boil down to choice. Now, with our current economy and everything else, you know, it is hard. I can't tell you the fathers I've ran into that are of every race, that they either found that one job where they're working, 60, 70 hours a week and they're hardly home, and those that are working 2-3 jobs and hardly home. So, and everything's left on the mother to take care of: the school, the doctor appointments, and all that stuff. Still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
I heard a ding, so
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Somebody came in.
And So to me, there's a lot of variables in that situation, because of course there are those where the woman is an interesting human being, and those where the husband is an interesting human being, be it they're abusive or whatever the case may be. And in those situations, you know, they still have to make a choice. Do I leave this relationship or do I not? So I do feel it made it easier for those that are in need in those situations. But then again, those that there's so much depth to that question, because if you look at it in a general sense, absolutely. If you look at it in the severe issues, that's where things get complicated, because there are women and men that do take advantage of the system.
Wow.
So which side are we talking about, the general sense or the extreme sense?
I'm letting you go where you want to go, brother. You talk to me. What do you see?
It's a combination of everything. Everything that gets talked about on this show, a decision normally gets made. Do we end up talking about the general situation or the extreme situations?
Okay.
And sometimes it's hard for me to separate, because based on some people's comments and stuff, it's very personalized, and it ends up in the extreme side of things. Well, not everyone deals with the extreme side of things. In the general public, the biggest issue right now for men to be at home is a lot of times it's easier for them to not be in the home. And I'm talking about white people, black people, Chinese, just across the board. There are times where it is so hard on them having to work 2 or 3 jobs, because maybe they're not the most gifted human being. And it would be easier for the wife and kids to receive help from the state than the amount of income and not being able to be home.
Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. What do you all think? Is a lot of the homes empty, fatherless, if you will, where the fathers are not in the home? Is it because of choice? The man just didn't want to be in the home. He just packed his bags, said, you know what? This is too much for me. See ya. Left. Or is it a system in place that's saying that if a woman, if she have a man in the household, then a lot of these benefits, quote unquote benefits, that she's supposed to get, or the family is supposed to get, because of the fact that there's a man in the household, you're not getting it. You have to make a choice. Either get these benefits and get rid of him, or keep him and not get these benefits. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Raheem.
Yeah.
I want to share an experience real quick.
Okay.
Because of what you just said.
Okay, now, Badge, let me come right back to you, brother, because, you know.
I know it's really quick.
Okay, real quick. You got to be real quick now. Got people waiting.
So when I first got on disability and me and my wife were married, I was told that my wife would have a better chance of getting health insurance and stuff if we weren't married, because of how much they give for Social Security.
Exactly. There you go. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Never feel bad. I was going to back you up. I was going to say, use you for that example. And I mean that in a good way. I'm glad you said what you said. And then you already went in the direction I was going in. You know, it's funny. Sometimes when you have an ulterior motive or an agenda, you may tend to contradict yourself. Or ignore a lot of the facts that you may have brought up yourself in the past. Yeah, I think it was just said a few minutes ago that people choose to be on welfare. Well, I think in a lot of cases, if a woman is choosing welfare, she might not be choosing that man. So that man might not have a choice to be in that household if she's choosing welfare. Because Andy said it. Sometimes you get comfortable. A Badger just said it. Or it'd be better off for you to get a divorce and get rid of your husband, your children's father, so you can receive these benefits. Influence. Sometimes people are influenced to make certain choices. Every man is not in the household, or every man is fighting to be in his child's life. They make a choice to not be in his life or to leave that household. But once again, you will contradict yourself if you have an agenda or an ulterior motive. Um, the same people that were put in the projects, you want to separate black people and white people, put them in the projects and put them in trailer parks. I wonder if they had a choice or did somebody put them there. I'm just going off what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we do make choices, but it's based off of the influences of the conditions that we live under, like how we live under inflation, low wages. People are begging for wage increases. People are working 2 and 3 jobs. So many different issues and instances where people make choices that really don't benefit them, but they make those choices based off of the fact that they were influenced because of the conditions we live in. Ain't nobody taking black men out the house. So I guess we gonna ignore or dismiss the day that Paul came on crying because he read from Nixon's own advisor that they used the war on drugs to target black men and take them out the household. Oh, he ain't trying to leave. He wanted to leave the household.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the prison incarceration. How did we become the majority? Because of the way they executed laws.
Mm-hmm.
How are we the majority, black men? How are we the majority of people that are getting out of prison for wrongful convictions? You know what a wrongful conviction is? That means somebody railroaded you, set you up, and had you put in prison for something you didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but they ain't take you out the household. You did that. That was your choice.
Wow.
So, sometimes when you have an ulterior motive or agenda, you will put everything in the box just to dismiss or make other people sound some type of way. I don't know what the purpose is behind that, but when you really are looking at things with a pure, righteous, open mind, some of these comments and some of these opinions wouldn't go in the direction that they go in. It wouldn't be so obvious of what was going on. But we live in a world right now where the conditions we exist under have so much influence that some of the choices we make are very dysfunctional. And some of the positions they put you in to make the choices you make will put you in a dysfunctional situation. Like maybe divorcing your husband and the children of your father of your children so you can receive better assistance.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's been written, it's been admitted to, and then it's been recognized from people that once again felt the same way. I don't think the government would target black males. I just don't believe that. Then you found out they did.
Mm-hmm.
We all found out with proof. So Badger's living proof that some of the men that are not in the household with their children, white and black, but we do have a crisis with the black family, are not choosing to be taken out of the household. They're reaping the consequences and the repercussions behind people making choices that say it's best for them to be out the household.
Wow. Stay right there, Rico.
Some cases, not all cases.
Exactly. Stay right there, Rico. We're gonna circle this thing back around. We're gonna come right back to you. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Curtis, you there?
Good morning, Rodney. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Curtis, what do you think about this, man? We're talking about is there a system in place? Is there a system in place that drives the man out of their household, be it welfare, and then telling them that if you got a man in the house, then almost like that Claudette movie, if you got a man in the house, then you will get none of these benefits because you have a man there, or is it that these men are just leaving the household because they just piss poor sorry and don't want to be there? What do you think it is, Curtis?
Well, let's talk about up-to-date numbers. Well, you said men, so that applies to all. all of these systems, all of these systems are set up pretty much to benefit one entity,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the governing body. They're really not set up to benefit the woman. And a woman pays what I think is 44%. Every time she get a child support check, like 44% of the check already go to the government. So how much is that going to benefit the lady?
Mm.
If the child support payment is beneath $100 a week?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, how beneficial is that? The way what appears to me is the way that the system is set up is to show you a shiny, bright object that you can't never reach it. I remember one time I was in a tight situation. This was about 20 years ago, and I lost my job,
Mm-hmm.
everything, and I went down to apply for food stamps, and I got me and my son. These people approved for me to get $16 a month.
Mm. Good Lord.
And they said that I should have been thankful for that because I had a $16,000 car in the parking lot.
Mm. Wow.
And I'm looking, you know, I'm saying to myself, what my car got to do with me needing some help?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Rico kind of knocked it out of the park. You know, we got to move past this whole idea that, oh, cats just want to do that, because that's crap. That's a lie. That's an easy cop out to not have to deal or talk about the real issues at hand. I'll land the plane right here. Oprah Winfrey just did a special on this. I told y'all about it last week, and I was hoping that you would go and dig it up and watch it, because it was very, very informative and kind of blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oprah Winfrey just did a special, last week, where she had a panelist of black men from all ends of the spectrum, pretty much in all professions, and some black policymakers and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
According to the Census Bureau, as of right now, according to the Census Bureau, there are more black men in the house with their children and working than any other ethnicity in America.
Wow. 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 Good deal. Good deal.
We don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we talk about what we're constantly shown on TV or in movies.
Mm-hmm.
We're constantly shown the deadbeat dad. And I had to run that thing back in my mind for a minute, Raheem. Like, we've been seeing this since we was kids, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I run that back in my mind, and I'm gonna end right here. When I run that back in my mind, right, and I realistically go back in my mind and think about all of the deadbeat daddies that I seen, we still don't outweigh.
Mm.
And I
Wow.
don't live on every spectrum you can. I don't live wealthy. I don't live butt booted, bottom pole.
Mm-hmm. Wrap it up,
I don't
Curtis.
live
Gotta keep it moving, brother.
wealthy. I'll land it right there, man.
Okay, good deal. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning? Cassandra? Cassandra, can you hear me? Okay. Cassandra may be having some issues with a line there. Let me go to Frank. Frank, talk to me, brother.
Hello?
Hello?
Go ahead, Cassandra. I'll wait.
Cassandra, you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah. Cassandra, and good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we're asking a question. Is there dealing with the household with the man and the man being in the household? Is there a system, or was there a system, or is there still a system in place that says that if you have a man in your household, you're not getting any benefits? If a woman has a man in the house, like I said earlier about like the Claudette movie, if she had a man in that household, she ain't getting no benefits. Or is it just the men are just that piss poor sorry that they're just walking away from the families? Which one do you think it is, Cassandra?
All right. It is Monday, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I think that there is. It's not like it used to be because men are. A lot of men have stepped up. A lot of men have stepped up, but we do have a large percentage, especially the younger group. I'm sorry, I'm that do not step up to the plate. And when a man is in the house, of course, like everything else that they do income. So if you have two people in the house and like say the husband loses job, they can still get benefits. So it may not be as much as we would like to see, but they can get benefits. So
now Curtis said Curtis said he went down there, Cassandra. Hey, Cassandra, Curtis said he went down there and they tried to give him $16 a month in food stamps because he had a certain vehicle in his driveway.
Yeah, that had to be years ago. I mean, I'm sure that was years ago. There were certain and anyway, they're saying about a car outside. How would she know what he was driving and how much it cost? I'm just saying, I don't. To me, I would have filed a lawsuit against her because, I mean, what is that? What is that? What does that have to do with what I need right now? So, I don't know. I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, there was a question. Yeah, what kind of vehicle is still on there? If you have a vehicle and then the value of the vehicle, that's still a question that they have on there. So I don't think that the majority of men are not wanting to do it, but there are some men that just once they've hit it, they don't want the woman and they don't want nothing to do with any children that came from that relationship. So I'm just saying. With women, I hold and I get bashed a lot for this. I hold women accountable. Stop doing that. Stop. Woo. Okay. Yeah. That's it. That's
okay.
it.
You're in the corner because I'm going that way.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You was about to go there, Cassandra. You was about to go there. Frank, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I was. But you put it right, Cassandra. You put it right.
So a place that Leonard went to that we kind of tried to run by is that you can't legislate people to do right. You can't pass laws that are going to cause men to raise their children.
Yeah.
That's never going to work. That's never going to work. So it is a choice. It's absolutely a choice. And then we can't, as much as they can't legislate it, we can't listen to our family members and friends talking about raising these kids are too hard. Yeah. Dude, you got to shame them if you know somebody that has a child And if it's too hard for you and the mother of the child, how much harder do you think it's going to be just for her?
Preach, Frank.
So when you're hearing somebody using those types of words and making those types of excuses, the one thing we need to do, and this is something that you will get really, really kickback about it. You will never be better unless you admit your shortcomings. So what is hard? So what? That's the difference between a male and a man. That's the difference. One is gender. Another is facing responsibility and living up to the things that you've done because you were raised a certain way. When my mother and father passed away, and I took on my niece and my nephew, a lot of people would have justified, well, those aren't your kids. That's not your responsibility. But my parents didn't raise me that way. But that was family.
Yeah.
I didn't do it out of obligation. Who wouldn't do that? They were just kids. And dude, I don't know who on this line have never had it hard. I've had my lights cut off.
Yes, Lord.
I've had eviction notices. I've had all of those things. So what? The things about going through tough times, it makes you better. Life does not respond to fair. It responds to balance. Your butt needs to get some balance in your life. The same people that are talking about it's too hard, they got 5 flat screen TVs in their house.
Come on.
They Gucci down to the socks. Stop it, man. Stop making excuses. We, as a people, we will never be as strong as we should be if we continue to make excuses for poor behavior.
Y'all got me in a spot right now.
What?
Y'all got me in a spot because I do understand, and I've had conversations with people, and I've had it rough myself. And so it ain't always peaches and cream. And so I will say that a lot of times it does get very difficult. And a person needs somebody to come into their life, man, and to help them out and help them through that rough patch. Because just like you go over the mountaintop, sometimes you got to go in that deep down valley, man. And that deep down valley is not a comfortable place for people to be in. It's not a comfortable place for people to be in.
So put a dollar amount on it. Put a dollar amount on it, Raheem. You tell me the amount that somebody could knock on your door and tell you, hey, we're going to give your wife $5,000 a month. All you got to do is leave her and your kids.
No. See, that's not even an issue. I'm not leaving. But
my
thing, but everybody, Frank, no. Everybody don't wear my shoes, Frank. Everybody don't wear my shoes, brother. And, I can't say because of the fact that certain things I don't eat, and I'm not gonna tell people to eat it because I don't eat it. No, everybody's different. Everybody's good, and I'm not saying that listen to me. I'm not sitting here saying that they need to leave or that they don't need to be in the house. No, I don't want nobody to hear me saying that. But what I am saying is it does get difficult. I'm not going to ignore the fact that it does get difficult. And that's why I say sometimes they need, when it gets listen. Sometimes when I say this right here, sometimes a person needs somebody that's bearded, like y'all say all the time, somebody that's bearded, they're coming in and sit down with them for a minute and have a conversation with them, maybe help them out a little bit. But leaving should not be the issue.
But we can't cuddle them. We can't cuddle them, Raheem. We can't tell them, I know it's hard. Dude, you're not raising a man if you're doing that.
Frank, no, that's not true. That's not true. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. And the reason why I do not agree with that is listen, my thing is this right here. The reason why I do not agree with that is you're not even a man, even the strongest. I've seen the strongest of men break down, man. They break down. People have this thing about them. They have emotions, they have feelings and emotions, and out of those feelings and emotions, things will come out of you when you're happy, you're gonna laugh. When you're happy, you're gonna laugh. When something is funny, you're gonna laugh almost till you tinkle on yourself. But when the time is rough, people, there's the opposite side of that. And when times are real rough, people sometimes are going to break down and people are going to cry.
Hey,
that's just life.
Raheem,
That's
I
life.
have those times right now. But you know what? When I have those times right now,
yes,
right now, you know what I do?
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that me and my wife agree on. It's okay for me to get frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for us to have difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving is not an option.
Absolutely. But see, my thing is this right here. Not everybody is cut that way. Not everybody is cut that way. You know, that's you, Frank. And I feel the same way. I'm not leaving my family. That's just what it is. But you got to be realistically, you got to understand.
I have
realistically.
to get my perspective of my expectations of men.
Okay. That's your expectations, though.
Not yours.
But you can't put your pour your expectations on everybody. You can't pour your expectations on everybody.
And then leave that responsibility on a woman.
That's beautiful. That's
don't
beautiful.
do that.
That's
don't
beautiful. But my thing, and we got to open this thing up again because a lot of people. But my thing is right here: you cannot pour your expectations on everybody else because everybody's not going to accept your expectations. Your expectation should be a person should not drink. Your expectation should be a person should not do drugs. Your expectations, but you can't pour your expectations on everybody else because now you're infringing your expectations on their life. And I've heard many times people say on here many times before that you can't do that. That's unfair and that's unjust for you to even try to pour your expectations onto somebody else. Everybody have the freedom.
Have you heard of culture? Have you heard of culture?
I have. And you know what else I heard of? I heard of the fact that we got to move this thing on.
A culture is a way that things are done.
Absolutely.
We have to strengthen our culture and we have to have expectations that men are going to conduct themselves, have some backbone. Women are going to conduct themselves, have some backbone, and do things a certain way. When we cuddle people, we weaken our culture.
I don't think so. That's your everybody got the right for their own opinion, as I have the right for mine. I'm not here to get anybody their opinion. I don't agree with that because I know that life happens and things happen to people in life. And it's not always a cookie cutter situation. I don't think you could do that. Let's keep this thing two stop. Hold on, Frank. Hold on, Frank. Hold on.
Can I just ask? Can I just say one thing, please?
Yes, you sure can. Go ahead.
Can I just say one thing?
Absolutely.
What I was getting to earlier is that women coddle our men as we grow them up, and they have become more emotionally, and they've seen the women react emotionally. Now our men are more emotional, where they should not react the same as a woman. They should be figuring out, why is this woman acting like that? They should be looking at their persona should be reason and intellect, not reacting off of emotions. That's why they're not where they are. That's why the culture is what he's talking about. That's the problem. See, the men are not men anymore.
So oh wow. See, this is good. This is good.
Go back.
But my thing is this. My thing is this right here. But hold on, guys. Let me say this. But guys, how do you do that? How do you, and I saw this. I'm gonna pull it up in a minute. I saw this saying that I think Carlos G. Wilson said it years ago, and I'm gonna pull it back up. But my thing is this right here. You make everybody. See, you tell you it's almost like y'all are saying men have to be emotionless, and they're not. They're not. Men have emotions just like women and everybody else. But
that's not what I'm saying.
But when they let their emotions show, they're weak.
I'm gonna use you as an example. Let me use you and show you kind of like an example.
Okay.
When I was talking about the GTA, because they were used to, instead of that mother pushing them out there to cut grass and make money, showing them how to do the things that as a man, I ain't gonna say should do, but should do. You know, getting them out there to learn how to develop skills how to make extra money for the household to take care of the household. Because my daddy had a job, but he also had other skills to supplement that income.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
that's what is not going down. They'll buy a game and say, I know what my son is. He doing good. He doing, instead of making sure they out here cutting grass, learning how to fix cars. These boys don't even, we had a workshop. These boys don't even know how to change the oil or the brakes on the car.
Cause that's a man's job. Okay.
In 2024.
Okay. Let's keep this thing going. Let me go to our Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart? It's a lot, man. I'm loving the conversation because we have actually see my whole thing is I love having a dialogue. We don't have to agree. We don't have to agree, but let's have the dialogue. That's the part I love. Let's have the dialogue. Tucson, talk to me, brother.
Hey, so I was trying to kind of think about how this conversation started, and we talked about Project 24, and it kind of like seemed like it was the Christian way of life.
Project 2025.
Whatever, 24, 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, man. I'm trying to figure it out. But let me try to deal from the bottom of the deck. Okay, we talked about men in the home, and we talked about family. Put the family back together because it's a good Christian thing to do. Well, what about the women say, I don't need a man? What about the man say, I like Johnny?
Come on now.
Oh, Lord.
And what about the women that say that, well, doggone it, I want to be a man? Or vice versa. Or me and Sally gonna hook up and we gonna have Billy. I can't say it like that because Mama might be on. Be a sperm donor, and we gonna raise the man. So we talking about just getting a man in the home, but there are some homes that don't want a man at all. There are some families.
Would you categorize them? Would you categorize them as being broken as well?
Well, it's not the. Who cares? See, if a person that is kicking that has their how you call that? He's creating the narrative. He really don't care what your family look like because his main thing is your family don't look like his.
Preach.
And since your family don't look like his, you out. Because his Christian values, not yours, is the only values that matter.
Wow.
Okay. And you're not fitting it. And you have, in their mind, have thrived off of our system. And we're gonna shut you down right now.
So what do you think it is? So Susan, back to our initial topic. What do you think it is, man? That a man is just piss poor sorry, he just leave, or do you think the system is
ain't nothing to do with it? Ain't nobody care nothing about that. Ain't nobody care nothing about that.
I am.
People been talking about men. People are piss poor and sorry. People are. And the people that are really piss poor and sorry, since you put the word out there, is the ones at the top, not the ones at the bottom.
But it's the ones at the bottom that's been affected. It's the ones at the bottom that's been affected, though, and that's my point. It's the ones at the bottom that's been affected, and so that's why it matters. That's why it matters.
You were the servant. You don't really matter. You were the uneducated. You were the unlearned. You were ones that we handed you a religion. and you went out on your own and established your religion, and it don't look like mine.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna sit you down.
Wow. Wow. See that I'm having a hard time getting people to answer the question that I'm asking though, because all that's
What you
good.
asking?
Is it easier? Is it the system set up? Is the system set up in a way that is pushing a man out of the home, or is it just the fact that he just don't want to be in the home? That's the question.
He had to be there.
Okay, Raheem,
Yes.
you talking about the system trying to dictate. You can't make a man stay in the home.
But
Some men leave
can,
the home.
But can he be
They're
pushed
not
out?
piss poor.
Can he
They
be
got a
pushed out?
crazy woman.
Can he be pushed out of the home? That's a whole different conversation. You know, the woman being crazy.
No,
that's a whole different conversation.
No, you can't push me out of nowhere I don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
You can't. You can't.
So what you're saying to me?
You can't.
You're saying to me, Toussaint, is now listen. What you're saying to me is, if there's a system in place that say that the man cannot be in a home, we will give you all the benefit that you and your children need, but you have to get that man out of the home. And you don't think that some man that say, well, look here, you know, it's rough for me right now. I can't provide the way that I want to provide. So go ahead on and go with that until I get myself back on my feet, and I come back once I get myself. I've seen people tell the stories about situations where they did things like that, and they had to make a conscious decision for the betterment of the family. And I'm not saying that he should listen. I'm not saying he should leave the. I would never say leave the home. I would never do that. I would never do that at all under no circumstances. But everybody's not, just like I said to Frank, not everybody is cut that way. Not everybody's cut that way. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Talk to me. You're real low, Cassandra. Your volume is real low.
I'm sorry. That sounds like an excuse to me.
What's that?
Come on.
So, and we don't want to give. We don't want to give. We don't want to give people excuses for leaving. I don't care what they are saying. Well, if he's still in the house, wooda, that's your family. And I don't know who the female other lady is on here, but when she said about I think it was something on the same lines of what I was saying. Making excuses for the person. You can't do that. And a lot of them aren't even in the home. So how do you put somebody out of the home when they ain't even in the first place? So they have already shirked their responsibility because you walked away because the woman was pregnant. We have to get back to basic values where you get married, you have children, something close to that. We ain't even close to that these days. It don't even look nothing like that.
Is that a perfect world type situation? Is that a perfect world type scenario?
That's not a perfect world. That's doing what's right. That's doing what's right. That's not a perfect world. That's people doing what's right. And that's what we need to get back with. Try to at least do what's right. You have children. Take care of your damn children. Take care of your doggone children. Take care of your children.
I'm gonna tell you the quote.
Ain't nobody made you do the horizontal mumbo, and then you walk away.
But
and
see,
these women, I'm so sick of young women, just giving themselves. Stop giving yourself to people that ain't even worthy of your time and ain't gonna stick around once they get what they want. And then you there with a baby, and he went to the next one.
Okay.
Okay, I'm at the doctor's. I gotta go.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you.
Raheem.
It is easier. And the quote that I found said, hold on. The quote that I found says this right here. It is easier to build strong children than to repair a broken man. Well, I'm gonna read it as it says. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Some of the men are broken, and we can't ignore the fact that they are broken. We can't see y'all. You see that's real cute, but we still cannot ignore it. I mean, that's real cute, but we can't ignore the fact that some men are broken. I'm sure y'all know some.
Raheem.
Hold on, let me go to Leonard. I'll come right back to you, Badger. Leonard, what's on your heart?
Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge the fact that my queen, it's so good to hear you this morning. I haven't heard you in a long time. we started because of the and let me get this before I go any
Thank
further.
you, Leonard.
Before I go any further,
Mm-hmm.
that is not what the law says.
Mm-hmm.
There's a criteria by which you have to meet in order to receive funds from a particular program.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works. You don't even have to go down there if you don't want to. They don't have to know none of your business. You and the man, y'all, you had
you ain't getting
that
that.
can take care of your own business. It was a point in time where black folks didn't even want to go to get welfare. That's why I'm so in tune to my elders on the line. So you can tell them how it really was and stop this BS and this lying.
Mm-hmm. So it's not.
So nobody knows. Nobody that's sitting around, baby, I really wish I could be with you.
Why did they used to do them?
Marry you.
Why did they used to do, Leonard? Why did they used to do them home checks? Why did they used to do them home checks? What was the purpose of them home checks?
The home check was to make sure that you were in compliance with the program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you have noticed how she keeps getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm. And so the home check had a part of the home check. A part of the home check had nothing to do with trying to find out whether there was a man in the household. A part of the home check had nothing to do with trying to find out whether there was a man in the household. A home check had nothing to do with that.
They do home checks, but I've done home checks before.
I'm talking about the welfare system. I'm talking about the strict welfare system.
Home
that's giving the
to make
benefits.
Sure you have the basic necessities about basic minimum care. You got food in your refrigerator. The child has a safe place to sleep. Those types of things.
Mm-hmm. And a bubble. If
to notice,
if Bubba come and open the door and let him in, that won't be a problem.
The house that ain't on the lease.
So if Bubba come and open the door, and let him in, that won't be a problem.
He ain't got no business opening her door if she on the system and they know what they doing.
There you go. My point exactly.
You don't talk to me about nothing about hood.
My point exactly, brother.
Some of y'all sound like y'all making stuff up.
Mm-mm.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes.
Raheem.
Yes.
The reason why I ain't married you is because of the government.
Mm-hmm. No. Now you're twisting what I said. I didn't say the reason why he's not married is because I did not say that. No, sir. I did not say that. I said that there's a system in place that they and that's one of the reasons why, like you just said, they do the home checks. They do the home check. And you say he ain't got no business opening up the door. He ain't supposed to even be there because of the fact that there's a man in the household. It's going to eliminate the amount of assistance that you get.
Loitering the grounds of just about every subsidized housing project you know about.
That's beautiful, but that has nothing to do with what I'm talking. Hold on, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, though. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, he's not supposed to be in the household.
Income-based subsidy.
Mm-hmm.
It's an income-based subsidy.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So. And if you got somebody living in there that's receiving income, whether it's a male, whether it's a female, whoever you got that's bringing in income or getting income and is living with you, that is the problem. It's not on the lease. I have the same issue when I rent to people out of my own facility.
Mm-hmm.
If their name is not on the lease, they cannot live there. They can come visit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother? Hold on, everybody. We got a lot of people on here. Hold on. I said I'm gonna go to Badger. Badger, go ahead, brother. Ibrahim, coming to you next.
So I mentioned that comment, the short version of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna finish that comment before I make another one.
Okay. Now hold on.
We were told that
go ahead.
When me and my wife were told that it would be easier for her to get access to certain things. You also have to remember I brought up before. We were also told that if my wife was black or one of the other races, it would also make it easier, which is also a lie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife and me sat down and discussed this because, as many of y'all know, my spine is shot. Guess what my wife's response was to it?
What's that?
No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I sat there and shoot, I know Leonard can vouch for this too. I sat there crying to him, trying to figure out how to find a way to get my wife insurance because of the way the Texas Medicaid system is set up. Because my disability checked me in too much. And it took what, Leonard, I've known you for what, almost going on 5 years now?
Almost, yeah.
And then I finally called you happy as all get out because we found one person in the insurance field that knew how to work the system and got my wife on insurance.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it took 5 years of fighting, of me having to watch my wife be sick. And no matter what, she always said, no, we will get through this together.
Okay.
And through the grace of God,
An
answer was provided.
That's good. That's good. But
many
see,
people had the opportunity. So there was a comment made, I can't remember who said it, about men being too emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I find that absolutely dehumiliating. If you want us to go back to the patriarchal society that we have worked so hard to overcome, I am flabbergasted. I would rather the men that I speak with actually know what emotions they're feeling and have the ability to work through it so they can be the best person that they can be, not create another generation of stuck up, they're either stuck up, egocentric, prideful, or they're so sensitive they don't even know how to process what they're doing. Our society is jacked up, and it's took a lot of work for a lot of men to learn how to feel, to learn that it's okay to cry, okay to be happy, okay to be sad, and all these things. Just because a male is emotional doesn't mean that they're weak. In my opinion, a man that can show their emotions and accept that that is part of them being a human being and able to work through it and provide in that whole process is a lot stronger than those that run from theirs.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So Raheem,
Yes, sir.
let me defend that young lady's statement. When she said that there was there's a time for everything. My son just graduated, and today was actually his first day of college. I just dropped him off, and we had a huge dinner for him. And I was praying for him in my backyard with hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just praying and crying because I'm speaking things into his life. I don't care who's there. I'm having a wonderful time with the Lord and with my son.
Mm-hmm.
But there's times when someone approaches my house or someone approaches my family, or we get some bad news where my family looks at me for strength. And in that moment, I cannot fall apart. If somebody walks up to me and my family and we're out and they start hollering and screaming and I just break out crying, my kids are going to look at me like, Dad, what is going on with you? You can't control your emotions all the time, but there's times where you better control your emotions if you're a man.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say this, and this is something else that she said that was so powerful. I think people missed it. I had this conversation with my boys because they're very close to their mom. And at breakfast, I told them, I said, it's wonderful for you to love your mother. I expect you to do that. I expect for you to be her protector to a point if I'm not around. I said, but don't you look to her as the way a man should move. When you want to see how a man should move, you look at me. when you I'm saying, all right, come on, we're gonna go ahead and cut the grass. My wife says, "Oh, it's too hot out there. I wish you would slow down."
Mm-hmm.
Right, we about to get this done.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, and they need to. She can't teach them to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
They have to look at me to see how I move and flow, and they have to eat the meat and spit out the bones because I'm not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing to be emotional. There's another thing to be soft.
Amen.
And we have a generation of men that have been coddled, and they don't have any backbone.
Whose fault is that?
So don't get the two of those things twisted. There's a difference between the two.
Okay.
I'm one of the most emotional cats around until I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Raheem, did I get a chance to speak?
Yes, Ibrahim, I heard you. Yes, I'm coming to you, brother. I had you. I already said I was coming to you next. I heard you. But my thing is this right here. Whose fault is that though, Frank? If we gonna sit here and we're gonna say that we have the weakest man that's been coddled all this and we gonna say all of that, then there's somebody has to take responsibility. So whose fault is it?
My generation. It was my generation. It was my generation that weren't there for a lot of these men to see. You know one thing that breaks my heart, Raheem? Every time I see the NFL or NBA draft, and there's a young, powerful man standing there, and he contributes all of his manhood to his mother, and his father is nowhere to be found. It breaks my heart. And I'm not trying to say that a woman cannot raise a man, but that's not the design of it. That's not the way it's designed. I look at my boys and I watch how they move their hands, how they walk, and I was like, oh my God, that's my father.
Good deal. Good deal.
They need to see us.
Absolutely. And so and that's my point right there. You know, we allowed it to a large degree. We dropped the ball, brother. We gotta take ownership of that. We dropped the ball.
Ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah, we gotta take
gotta
ownership.
Admit that there's an issue. First, that's the first thing. We cannot deny that there's a problem. There is an issue. But
Good
the
deal.
issue is not with the woman, especially with these young men.
Let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, good morning. You know, this is a good conversation on both subjects. Kind of run into each other. The first subject about standards, right? Should we set these standards? Yes, that's what society does. That's what culture does. That's why, you the claimant for being a Christian and you're thinking of being a Christian. That's a culture. That's the status that you hold to, that you want everybody to sort of conform to. Or if not conform, at least have some guidelines of how you conduct yourself within your society, your tribe, your class, your nation, or whatever. You have a certain standards, right, that you have to abide by. You know what I mean? That's good for the nation. It's good for the group of people. Now, individualism came into effect in the late '60s. People argued about it, and I was one of those young people that supported it. And then once I seen the damage of that kind of thing, there's no such thing as individuality because no man is an island. You know, if I may use a phrase. Right? So that particular thing that's what's happening now. That people saying I, me. This is what I say. But there is a social standard that should be a template that you have that conforms, or does not conform to whatever group that you want to be a part of. You know, and I know people saying manhood and womanhood and all this kind of man should be married. That's bull. I think there's a standard for adulthood. That adult has to take certain responsibility of self and its community. Every adult should take that part, I believe. You see, and that's the way I was kind of raised, right? Whether it be male or female. Now, as far as the male consideration, the idea for that male is put upon us by all kind of other cultural norms and everything, by movie, by TV and everything. We think a man is like this, a man should be like this. But at certain times, like the brother said ahead of me, that you have it, a man has to, somebody has to stand and be an adult. Somebody has to be firm. Somebody has to be unwavering, you know. And there's time for tears, there's time for your suffering, and there's time for your grief, and there's time for your joy. But it has to be tempered in the presence of others. That's what men learned. It wasn't that men could not be emotional, that you had to be temperate, because you're setting the standards not only for your children, your daughters. Your daughters are going to marry the man. They love their daddy or like their daddy. They're going to marry a man like him. Or else they're going to marry a man they think their daddy should be. You see what I'm saying? Or, and mostly not what mother likes, but what their dad is. And I've seen that happen in my family a lot. You know, they tend to generate.
Okay. Ibrahim, let me ask you a question.
Thing is,
Ibrahim, let me ask you a question. And this is a little different while staying on the same topic. Was there a time where the system said that if a man is in a household, the woman ain't get no benefits? You of a certain age. Do you remember?
Yeah. That was when it started. This a lot of this started in the 60s, right? It was because of that the poverty level. The government or the people did not support their people, even though their history in the government told them they should support all the people, right? Now the poverty level. Now it wasn't just for black people; it was for the people that were impoverished, right? That could, for a lot of different reasons, could not make it get close to the American dream or get the education they needed to support the government or the country itself. So these things were in view to give people that opportunity. Now, when it first started, like projects, Atlanta's a good example. The project started in the 50s, right? There was a place called Buttermilk Brown. It was full of shantytown, worst place in the world. It was also, but in 1960, they just completely blew it out of the ground. And they had people in projects. Why they go in projects? Because these were people who owned this land and these settlements. And that was a good way of taking over this land by eminent domain, by finding a place to go. And they told them that the whole family could live there. The whole family, uncle, buddy, grandmother, grandfather, the father, son, everybody could live there if you see in good time. That was actually kind of the case. That was in Chicago, Cabrini Green. That was actually the case. But then in the late 60s, they got to a point where they thought that they were being taken advantage of, or at least put their opportunity out. They got to go. And then if you remember during Clinton, when Clinton was president, they came up with this thing that you have to work and all this. You have to do these things, do that thing. This is kind of new. And also the leasing program is different, right? It's a lease. It used to be rent, right? You rent for the family. You get a 3-bedroom. No, that's what you got it for the family. You know, it wasn't leasing, but leasing became a different thing where you could eliminate or have control of people like that would violate certain laws that was created by culture and created by society, that a man coming out of prison has no place in there, right? Or if you're getting certain subsidies, there wasn't a man. That started with the project and the welfare program.
Good deal.
Welfare program was new.
Wrap it up for me. We gotta move on.
Like Okay. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying that's why it all blends together, right? It's the culture that makes laws. Just because a law is what it is, and people protest that because we never get into a thing of affordable housing. It's impossible to do it on the systems you got. The culture and the people have to create laws and develop laws that's going to bring the people in so they can benefit from it.
Good deal. Stay right there.
Hostile activities are eliminated.
Okay, stay right there, Ibrahim. We got to keep this thing going, man. Good input. Good input. K with the E. Good morning, Joseph. Coming to you next. Okay, what do you say to that? Is it a situation where the men are just piss poor sorry, or do you think there's a system in place that's saying that the man cannot be in a household if the woman and the family is going to get benefits? What do you say it is? What do you say to that? And good morning, Kay. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine. I was just listening though, and I'm thinking like, I always go back to the movie Claudine. Like we had this discussion before, and the movie Claudine, I just go back to it because it was on big screen. They put it on big screen for those that didn't understand it, and that's how it was back in the day. Like my mother never I'm not going to get nothing free. I'm not doing none of that, and it is a man in my household, and he gonna be a man, and so it's like. It's like interfering with a man being a man because those wasn't his children. She was dating the garbage truck guy, but he was helping her. So when the people came, she had to hide her TV because she shouldn't have nothing because she was on she was living off of welfare, so she had no business with no TV. So she didn't have to hide the man; she had to hide what he bought her. Not only so he didn't have to be there. Days he was there, she had to hide him. Like you couldn't even have a relationship. You couldn't do nothing. It didn't matter if that was the kid's father or not. And so now times have changed. Big time. Times have changed. Literally. The father can be in the home. The father can be on the food stamp card. The father could be on your case. Your boyfriend could be on your case. Times have really changed. literally.
Okay, that's good.
So it ain't like that no more. So
Mhm.
for men to be poor and pissed like they are, maybe it's because the system should go back to checking.
Mhm. Wow.
Like, I don't mind you having a TV, but go back and you got a man in the household, then you should be doing better
Mhm.
because there's a man in your household. Not
Mhm.
take your things from you. You should do better. You should need less. If you have a
Mhm.
man in your household, you should need less.
Mhm. Wow. Wow.
And that's
Joseph.
what I really think, because it's a lot of men out here that don't go to work.
Mhm.
They live off the system. I
Exactly.
know a man, he ain't got no kids. He get $200 worth of food stamps. He don't got
Mm.
no utilities, nothing to do.
Mm. Wow.
They was giving me $20. I got a big house.
Mhm. Wow. Wow. Joseph, talk to
So
me, brother.
I know what the system's doing.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. Joseph, what do you say to this, brother? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, sir, and good morning, family. Morning,
Hey.
Growth family. Y'all fired up this morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's Monday morning. We started this week off right. We started off right. But what do you say to that? What do you say to that, brother? Is which one do you think is more of the system not wanting to provide because there's a man in the household, or is the system itself pushing a man out of the household?
Okay, so let's start with the big picture and shrink it down to the small side. Let's look at it like a map. Look at the whole state, and then bring it down to a little town, a little city, a little village, a little county.
Let's do it.
The manifest destiny of this country, and it was only 13 colonies, and they felt they need to control all that land out west, and so that they can be strong enough to keep everybody else out, to keep all the other Europeans out. So manifest destiny allowed them to go from the eastern seaboard all the way to the Pacific Ocean. So now they got the United States. They got a whole big country. And now Monroe Doctrine come in and said, we're going to control everything in the Western Hemisphere. So don't nobody from Europe come over here to the Western Hemisphere and do anything politically, economically, or militarily. We controlling everything. And that's the United States. Now, also, let's look at the slaves who were freed, millions of them. Today, there's about 40 million descendants of slaves in the United States of America. How do we control them? Because we're controlling everything else. We control the Western Hemisphere. Don't nobody come over here. You remember when Nikita Khrushchev brought those missiles to Cuba, and John F. Kennedy said, we're gonna blast everything over there if you don't get those missiles out.
Yep.
That was Monroe Doctrine. James Monroe, the same one that started Liberia, of which the capital is Monrovia, named after him, where he wanted to send all black folks back to Africa. That was one of the plans to control us, get us all to go back to Africa. But now, how do you control these 40 million black folks in the United States? Every time we fill out an application, we put all the information down so they can watch and observe and monitor our movement. So if you get welfare, okay, you got to fill out the application. Got a Social Security number? All right, we're going to follow that Social Security number. We're going to find out where all y'all doing, where all y'all at. We will make sure that you don't rise up to a place of self-determination.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to determine your own destiny. Everything going to be done within this system. Now, we're talking about the system and the symptoms of this system. Yeah, it hurt men, and yeah, it hurt black families. Yeah, it's designed to do so. We ain't controlling it. We didn't make the laws. We're not making the rules to help ourselves. If I was in charge, hey, we wouldn't have that many black folks in prison. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
I'd find another way. I'd find another way to use that energy. But no, we got to be contained. That's why you got millions of black folks in the prison, disproportionately black.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a system to control, to make sure we continue to fight over the symptoms of it. Don't look at the whole system. Don't understand structural racism, because if you do, then you're playing chess. I'm gonna leave it there.
Good deal. Toussaint, talk to me, brother.
I think that man is a genius.
Come on now. Is he
Ain't
the
nobody
wise
care about you
man?
being, huh?
Is he the wise man?
Yeah. You need to change your narrative because ain't nobody care about you Negroes being free.
Mm.
We sorry we did it in the first place.
Mm.
Now we got to make America great again.
Wow.
Now you put that any way you want to.
Mm.
And then let me throw this out here with your religion. We're gonna do it in the name of Jesus to make it look right. Because y'all got our religion too, and you jacked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Hallelujah.
Come on.
Wow.
We don't serve God like that.
Preach.
That's not the way that we designed
What, you got
it.
a cheerleader in the background over there, man? You got a cheerleader over there? Preach.
And then now you got the nerve to build great cathedrals like us.
Mm-hmm.
The devil is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
We can't control y'all like that.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, you got the nerve to get your own Jesus and make God black. We want you in hell, not heaven, especially not ours.
Wow. Leonard.
We can't control you Negroes. Remember what they said about Malcolm X? That's too much power for one Negro.
Yep. Too much power for one man. Too much power. Yep. Sure did. Leonard, talk to me. And they sure said it. It's too much. That's too much power for one man.
I like to hear Toussaint because Mark 3. That's what I want. Mark 3, round 23.
Mm-hmm.
Make you laugh. And if I had to take a title for this message, how can Satan cast out Satan?
Come on.
We were just talking about something in Mark 3. You can start at 23 where the parable Jesus teaches this parable. But in around the 27th verse is what I think fits this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods except he will first bind the strong man.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd spoil the house.
It's a process.
You didn't establish the house. Now you want to talk about the system and where was the system when you talked that girl in the laying down? Where was the system? You was about the devil's work, and that's why you are where you are. Because you had no good intentions in the first place. So now you are reaping what you have sown. And now you want to try to fix it. But you still don't want to do right. What makes you think you can go against God's plan?
Fix it like you said you
and come out okay. I'm just talking to you believers that confess. And sitting here, why child support on your check. Talking about you ain't even established a house because you down not with just her. You don't got kids with the girl 3 doors down from her. You're spreading yourself too thin, brother, and then making excuses for the mess.
Wow.
And now you expect Satan to deliver you from this mess. He's not going to do it until you change. You cannot expect for your house to be saved. Until you change, you cannot expect a covering. You want to do whatever you want to do and then blame the system. Look at all these. That's why I didn't care nothing about gay marriage. Oh yeah, when it was popular, we can get married. Let's go get married. Ain't together today. Ain't together today with your gay self. Because you're against God. That's why.
Let me go to
Frank. What you want to do, I know how I feel, and do it until judgment. But you know you'll be standing alone.
Good deal. Stay right there, Leonard. Stay right there, Leonard. Frank, talk to me.
Right here.
Cassandra, coming to you next. Frank, talk to me, brother. Frank, you there? Frank Logan, wait.
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes, sir.
You know, we can't call things something different than what it is. I mean, we can try to make things something different or put labels on it or assume that it's something else, but everything has a definition way before you become it. You know, you just can't say, well, now I feel like this, so that's what I'm going to be. You know, you are what the Creator made you to be. Now, whether you live up to it or not, that's on you. You know, if you decide to have a child and the expectations is for you to be a father, if you don't live up to the expectations, you fail. Now, you can come with all of these reasons and excuses and everything else, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give you some time back. You can't make good copies with bad originals.
It's a good deal. Good deal. We're going to keep this thing going. Got just a few more minutes before we get out of here. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, talk to me, sis. Are we making excuses for the men? Or is the system, or do the system play a part in it as well?
Okay, the system may play a part in it, but I don't, nobody could make me not take care of my child. Point blank. Ain't nothing the system can do to make me not care. If I can't pay what they're telling me to pay, I'm going to be paying something. I don't care if it's not what the mother, what she wants. I'm going to be seeing my child and I'm going to be sewing into my child. Point blank, bottom line. It ain't no, women, like I said, I hold women accountable because if I slept with you and we had no commitment to each other and I end up with a child, whose doggone excuse is that? Whose fault is that? It's not the child's fault. It's me and the knucklehead that I laid down with fault. And both of us should be responsible. See, most times mothers they can't or they won't just walk away. The baby is in them. They birth the child more than likely going home with them unless there's been something prearranged. I'm just saying. So what does that mean? That means that man has to step up and do what needs to be done. Just do the right thing. That's all. We ain't asking you to do nothing, unusual, anything. Do the right thing, which is take care of what came through your seed.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. To me, it ain't difficult. If you don't want the heifer because you shouldn't have been with it in the first place, then just step off, but take care of your child and spend time with your child. What is happening with especially our young people today, is that the fathers, in a lot of instances, the fathers are absent, and they're out of control. And you're trying to figure out why because there is no male figure helping to guide them. We need the men. Point blank, bottom line. I don't care what stupid women say. I don't need no man. I take care of my own. Shut up. You might not need one, but your children dang sure need one. Shut up.
Wow. Badger, Kurt, coming to you next.
Man, I mean, that sums up a lot of things, in my opinion. Accountability. An individual's accountability for the situation that is at hand. I can't tell you how many times my faith was tested over and over again, and I had to fight myself to not lose it. And studying sociology and the way our country was founded, the things that happened in our country, the mentalities that were pushed upon people generation after generation, the lack of community in today's society, because there's so much bigotry and unjustified judgment, where you're condemned if you don't fit in this perception. I remember being young, being a kid, and neighbors helped each other. To where today people are so focused and trying about having to survive that it's not a lot of time for community. So people are seeking out community because that's what a lot of us do as humans. They also push this narrative of mind your own business. And look where that got us. That comment all by itself, mind your own business, that's been pushed on everyone in America, and where it got us and where it's gotten us today. And how many people still use it and teaching their kids and doing this. And I find it interesting how many people try to shove that mind your own business stuff, and then wonder why our community is so messed up and so many kids don't have father figures.
Good
in all communities, not just one, in all.
Wow.
How many people are watching these abusive husbands or wives, mothers or fathers, and they're going, well, it's not my business, I'm just going to walk away now.
Wow.
I want people to let that sink in and think about it. I really hope people truly think about it.
Good deal.
About whose responsibility it really is for why our society is the way that it is.
Kurt, talk to me, brother.
I've listened and I've taken in what needs to be taken in. I just would like to pose a question. Piggybacking off of what Cassandra said, what do we think is going to happen, or what do you think will happen when a culture, society, and or set within that culture and society makes one individual or a group of individuals with like characteristics? What happens when that culture and or society makes them feel over an extended period of time that they are not needed, that they mean no earthly good to the culture and society as a whole? What do we think is going to happen? Are we asking these men? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. 236.5.
I'll come back to you, Kurt.
What do we think is going to happen? I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay.
I'll talk to y'all later, man. Y'all be blessed. I gotta go into my doctor.
Yes, sir.
Whoa,
Likewise,
he dropped
brother.
a bomb.
Joseph,
He dropped a bomb, man.
talk to me. Talk to me.
I mean, while we sit up here trying to find the blame with each other, the society is looking at us as if to say, what good are these people to us?
Mm-hmm.
We no longer need them to pick our cotton. We have machines to do that. We don't really need them.
Mm-hmm.
Our military is high tech now. We got cluster bombs. We could drop them out of airplane and send them out like little mosquitoes to kill off people that we want to kill. So we don't need them in the military. So what good are these people as they sit and complain about the daddy not being home, about the wife not getting along, and this, that, and other? We better wake up and smell the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
We're not needed in this country. We are a people unto ourselves. We got to care about ourselves. We got to look out for ourselves. We got to talk to each other. You know, we got to talk about raising our kids. Not only raising them, but educating them so that they will be able to deal with a system that is stacked against them.
Mm-hmm.
And I say it like that because I know I got more time behind me than I got in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
The hour is late, as Dr. King said. It's midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And we fiddling around.
Should we consider
midnight?
Should
right.
we consider, Joseph? Should we consider leaving this country?
If we sit down in our conventions the way they used to have conventions, like it's back immediately following slavery, we had the colored convention. Those conventions were for us to come together, sit down, and look at our plight and plot a course, chart a course. We're not doing that anymore. I mean, we got large organizations like the NAACP, SCLC is flagging in the water. Other organization, Urban League is hanging on, but we're not talking about these issues.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to elect a 34-count felon to run this country in an arrogant way and to have no empathy, no mercy, no concern for anyone who's vulnerable. And all those years were spent to keep us vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have really no political power. We don't have no military power. If we start our own country, we'll be like the Palestinians in Gaza.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Rico, talk to me.
Man, I like what Joseph said both times, especially the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And Curtis and Badger, they hitting it on the head. Remember me? I'm Rico.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one that fight like hell to be in my son's life, but has a mother that's fighting like hell to keep me out of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't the only one. But it seems like somehow we forget this stuff sometimes. So it's all the no good deadbeat fathers. We're not going to remember that sometimes there's mothers out here that manipulate men, deceive them, get pregnant by them, and then let them know. That's all I was trying to do, was just trying to get a baby by you. Because you sitting on the nest egg. Oh, man, you got it. And you ain't the cutest guy. But you got that money. Ooh, you got that money. And really and truly, I don't care if you're in his life or not. So we live in these instances where we really have to face some hard truths and hold everybody accountable for their part that they play in making this dysfunctional system that we function in a success.
Mm-hmm.
The same system that educates/miseducates our children. This same system Joseph spoke about from the very beginning, the culture that existed in that system. It's fault and accountability to be held on all ends.
Yep.
On some of the fathers that chose some of these manipulative mothers wrong. Yeah, you still made a bad choice. I made a bad choice. I think about that all the time. Man, I fell for the tricks. I overlooked a lot of red flags and still made some bad decisions. So I guess it's my fault that she don't want me to be in my son's life, even though I fight like hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's all my fault.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of other fathers. You know, man, the truth is gonna be hard to accept. I accept it. I definitely accept the fact that I made certain choices I shouldn't have made. But at the same time, when I go and I evolve and I try to maneuver in that situation that I created, it's supposed to be, well, you get what you deserve. Wow. She don't want you in the child life. It must be something you did. How about she just might be corrupted in the mind? There are corrupt minds on both sides, black, white, women, and men.
Exactly.
But what we have to do is we have to start getting to a point, if we really want to fix some of our problems, we have to quit trying to find a way to just take sides, depending on what sides other certain people are on, and at the same time hold everybody accountable for the part that they play in making this dysfunctional system successful.
And see, that's the part that as the question asker, man, a lot of times, because I have to gauge what's going on and what's being said, and I want to be down the middle. I want to be down the middle and deal with both sides, both elements of it. I want to deal with both elements of it because that's effective. I think that's effective communication right there, where you can deal with everything, the whole ball. You got a ball of wax on the table, deal with it all. Don't just cut what you want to cut off and deal with that and leave the rest of us sitting on the table, because that's a part of it as well. K with the E, talk to me, sis.
Listen, I agree with Rico 100%. It's a bunch of crazy women, and they ain't been raised properly. That's it, and that's all. And some of them have been in a home with a mom and a dad. That don't make that home because both parents are there. Because what are you raising if they raising hell and arguing and getting drunk and fighting every weekend? What are you doing to those children? So when they come to the 2-parent home, all of those, that's not always a good thing. And it's a lot of issues here and what's wrong with our men today. Because sometimes them 2-parent home ain't right, ain't healthy at all. That's all I gotta say.
Wow. Cassandra?
Yeah, I'm not, and I really want to make this clear to men like Rico and a bunch of other men I know. I'm not talking about people that want and got, I almost said something. I'm not talking about men that want relationship with their children and then got an idiot that they have to deal with that won't allow that. To me, that's that is the worst thing a woman could ever do, to keep the child's father away from them. And I say that as my, that's my thing. My father was not in my life. It does something to you. People are like, it ain't no different because I'm a mother and a father. You a liar. You a liar. You may be the best mother on this planet, but you could never be a father. You could never instill in that child what the man can. So we need to stop telling that lie. That's another one. But I applaud men like Rico and other men that fight to have a place in their child's life. And you have, ignorant women that fight that. So I just want to make that clear.
And nothing is cookie cutter. Not because a lot of times you could come from a 2-family household, 2-parent household, mother and father in the home, and you still that does not guarantee that you're going to be an upstanding student. Hence Jeffrey Dahmer. He came from a 2-family household, and look at what he did. Look at what he did with himself. And so you would love to have it, You would love to have the 2-family household. You would love to have, both parents in the home. That's ideal. But it don't always necessarily mean that it's going to be what you want it to be. Frank, are you still with us? I think we lost Frank. Tucson, talk to me, brother, before we get out of here.
I was thinking about how we can make it really bad until we find a solution to the problem and then do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at something while you all were talking, and it don't have what it does, but it's not directed to it. It's just over the top. And it says, if I shut up heaven, that there'll be no rain. If I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and forgive their sins and heal their land. We don't believe God. And sometimes the very people that have manipulated us before, He'll allow us to be in their hands and they'll do it again because we don't want to just do the right thing. It ain't hard. But we make it hard because we go to our own devices to fix problems that only can be fixed one way. Just do right.
Do right.
But see now, if you don't do right, Nebuchadnezzar can make you do right. Not for your destruction, for your chastisement. You ain't got no country to go to. You just do right where you are. I'm just saying.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Well, it's time for us to get out of here. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Before we get out of here, I got to go to Cassandra Alexander Green. There's somebody that watched this broadcast, Cassandra, and they say, man, I missed a part of it. I missed a big part. I joined in 8:30, 8:45, 9:30, even 9 o'clock, 9:30, and I missed a part of it. I wish, Lord, I wish there was a way I could hear this broadcast and hear it in its entirety. Cassandra, can you help them out?
We definitely can help them out. If you would like to see or hear the show in its entirety, tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to dkmmediagroup.com. Once again, if you've missed the show and would like to see or hear it in its entirety, tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Tucson, brother, can I get you to pray us out today?
Yeah. Let me do it like this because he taught us, gave us a model. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. It's been a great broadcast. Anybody interested in doing the pledge with me today? Got to do our pledge. We got to do our pledge. Tucson, you can do the pledge with me?
Do it.
Cassandra, Leonard. Let's see, can we get a K with an E? Let's do this pledge. Y'all repeat after me. I will take this day.
I will take this day.
And be the best that I can be.
And be the best I can be.
Do the best that I can.
Do the best I can.
And help others. Help as many as I can to do the same.
And help as many as I can to do the same.
I promise to do this with love.
Promise to do this with love.
Compassion.
Compassion.
And the grace of God.
and the gracious God,
giving him all the honor,
giving him all the honor,
all the praise,
all the praise,
and all the glory.
and all the glory.
In the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
In the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
There you go. Good job. Good job. I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:17. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth. They would appreciate it, and I'm sure that you would as well. Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow morning. Again, if God say the same, you all stay blessed. Love you. And please take care of each other. Have a great day, y'all.